G'day everyone, Eric here. A topic I've touched upon multiple times in the past is the original Decepticon Emperor of Destruction, Generation 1 Megatron, or more specifically, his alt mode. An alt mode that has been a problem for the Transformers brand since its inception in 1984, and will forever present challenges to the team at Hasbro. Today, I return to this topic for one final time by going over the entire Generation 1 Megatron story. Megatron, Year Zero. As with all Transformers from 1984 and 1985, Megatron has his origins in a prior toy line. For him, Microchange, an imprint of Takara's Microman. This, however, is only part of Megatron's origin story, missing much of the context. The decision for the 1983 Diaclone Battle Convoy toy to become the heroic leader character for Transformers was a core concept at the heart of the new brand's identity, and subsequently established a set of requirements for his evil counterpart. A toy was needed that would be of a similar size to Battle Convoy, and have enough accessories to match the price point. It had to be of a similar play value, and have a cool factor to it. There was only one toy at the time that met all of those requirements. A redeco of 1983's Gun Robo Walther P-38 Uncle, Megatron converted into a remarkably realistic silver Walther P-38 pistol with a suite of attachments that could be used in both modes. A fantastic toy for its era with a ton of play value, fun to engage with, and visually striking, Megatron is easily one of the best toys from Generation 1, especially those first 2 years. It is also the origin of a lot of problems for Hasbro. International distribution was always a problem for Megatron. While the toy saw a full release in the US, China, Japan, and assorted parts of both Europe and Asia, there were regions of the world where the original toy never got past local toy gun laws, most notably being Australia and the United Kingdom. For both of those regions, Soundwave would be promoted to the Decepticon Commander within their toy lines.
Warrior robots in disguise. The leader of the evil Decepticons is Soundwave. He steals information with his spy cassettes. And this is Optimus Prime, battle headquarters and leader of the heroic Autobots. Transformers. They'll stop Soundwave and his evil Decepticons from destroying Earth. We hope. Transformers. Warrior robots in disguise from Hasbro.
However, this is only partial truth, as Megatron would still be available in the United Kingdom via grey imports of the French Joustra release, and as for Australia, gun laws here are determined by state government rather than federal. The ban on the toy was from New South Wales specifically, and Megatron was plentiful in at least Queensland, South Australia, and Victoria at the time. Technicalities by no means take away from the fact that Megatron was giving Hasbro problems from the very moment they launched the Transformers brand, and by the end of the 1980s, Hasbro would be distancing Megatron from that original Microchange toy. The character's second and final toy of the original Generation 1 line, Action Master Megatron, does not include the character's iconic fusion cannon as it is formed from the gun's scope. To understand why Hasbro would take such a hardline position on toy guns, we have to understand the landscape of the toy industry during the second half of the 1980s. Rainbows and Death. In 1985, toy maker LJN would release a line of water guns under the Entertech branding. Like the infamous line in toy history, these were notably different from your standard cheap, clear, pump-action water pistols. Cast in realistic matte black plastic, Entertech water guns featured electronic firing action at a rate of 60 rounds per minute, sound effects, and could have its ammunition instantly replenished via clips, just like a real gun.
The look, the feel, the sound, so real. Entertech.
The AK centerfire. The Defender with pump jump action, up to 25 feet of firing power, and water clip for fast loading. And now the water grenade's set. Pump them up and let them fly.
The look, the feel, the sound, so real. Entertech.
The marketing really says it all, and that was the problem. They were too realistic. While not tied to Entertech specifically, the 1980s had multiple instances of children being shot by the police after brandishing toy guns, and armed robberies being committed with realistic toy guns. Entertech, a brand built on the realism exhibited by the toy firearms, does nothing but exacerbate the issue and draw more ire from the public towards toy guns, as, unlike the generic water pistols, Entertech was a proper branded toy line with a full marketing campaign. In 1987, LJN would voluntarily add orange blaze caps to their Entertech line of toy guns in hopes that it would calm the public perception towards their brand, then gradually move the toys to bright neon colours by the end of the year, but ultimately it didn't matter. Due to events in 1987 and 1988, the US Congress pushed through regulations on toy guns, including the orange blaze cap that came into effect during 1989. Toys R Us would cease carrying toy guns from 1987 due to the deaths, robberies, and public outrage associated with them. Finally, Entertech itself would cease production in 1990 due to the acquisition of LJN by video game publisher Acclaim. This isn't the end of regulations on toy guns, as it was never limited to Entertech. Entertech was just the most notable brand in toy history. New York City would institute its own stricter laws on toy guns in 1998, preventing the sale of imitation firearms that are deceptively coloured, or have black, blue, silver, or an aluminium finish. These laws would then be expanded upon and made statewide in late 2022. Staying with just US state regulations, California has its own set of toy gun regulations that went into effect in January 2016, where imitation firearms must be of a non-realistic neon colour: white, red, orange, yellow, blue, green, pink, or purple, or cast from clear or transparent materials. This is in addition to the federally mandated blaze orange cap at the end of the barrel. While it is still very easy to find somewhat realistic toy guns at stores that sell cheap toys from Asia, your larger, more well-known toy manufacturers, your Hasbros, Mattels, and Spin Masters, don't want to produce them, and your large mass-market stores, your Walmarts and Targets, don't want to stock them. Internationally, most places have regulations against them, with the notable exception of Japan. Japan infamously has some of the strictest gun laws in the world, but conversely their toy gun laws are very different to those found in other countries. Rather than the toy's resemblance to a real firearm, Japanese laws are more focused on whether the toy could be modified into a real firearm, and this is precisely why Megatron can still see a mass-market release in Japan. While the original toy shot small pellets, it wasn't hard enough to cause real damage, nor could the toy be modified to do so, and neither of the Masterpiece toys are capable of firing any projectiles. All Megatron toys produced by Takara, now Takara Tomy, do adhere to Japanese regulations, even if they don't adhere to those outside of Japan. We now return to the Transformers. In the latter days of the UK and Australian runs of the Transformers, Hasbro would release a short line of re-released toys under the Classics banner. It should come as no surprise that Megatron was missing from both the 1990 and 1991 assortments, but it was just a sign of things to come. When the Transformers was rebranded and relaunched in 1993 as the Transformers Generation 2, the team at Hasbro would continue to distance themselves from that original Megatron toy. Megatron was given the distinction of being the first toy designed for the new Generation 2 toy line, as the other new tools for 1993 were initially designed for the European toy line where Generation 1 never ended, but rather transitioned into Generation 2. A large green and purple tank, 1993's G2 Megatron is very much made in the image of Skyquake from the prior year, a very large Decepticon with a combat vehicle alt mode and minimal articulation. Like the Action Master Megatron toy from 1989, the fusion cannon form from the gun's scope is gone. Instead, he has a new shoulder-mounted cannon. Designed to carry the spirit of the original toy yet create as much distance from it as possible, G2 Megatron is a very good-looking toy that cuts its own silhouette and has a commanding presence in its own right. While Megatron would have an eclectic assortment of alternative modes over the years from different continuities, Generation 2 Megatron would establish the tank as Megatron's go-to alt mode. But this doesn't mean the gun was gone forever. The release of Transformers Armada in 2002 was part of a large push for the Transformers brand that included a line of re-released Generation 1 toys under the commemorative series banner. Exclusive to Toys R Us and initially branded as adult collectibles, this line was to include a re-release of Generation 1 Megatron. Extensively redecoed in hopes that Toys R Us would carry the toy, this Megatron would have featured its chrome silver replaced with chrome purple, and much of the grey plastic replaced with blaze orange, in addition to the end of the silencer also being cast in orange plastic. This deco would have been dubbed Lava Megatron, and meant to depict Megatron at the end of the 16th Generation 1 episode, Heavy Metal War, though it bears more than a passing resemblance to Galvatron's deco in the cartoon. It should go without saying that Toys R Us rejected this proposal. This is more likely to do with the company's ban on toy guns in 1987 than the deco being unsatisfactory. The tool and its resemblance to a real firearm was still the problem. Due to the live-action Transformers film being delayed till 2007, Hasbro would quickly put together a holdover line dubbed Classics, the first true return to Generation 1 at mass retail since 1995. Classics would see the first time Megatron was a gun since 1985. Unlike the original toy, which was styled after a real gun, Classics Megatron is styled after a Nerf blaster, specifically the Nerf Maverick. Utilizing a grey, purple and translucent green deco with golden accents, this Megatron would see blaze orange cups added to both the gun's muzzle and scope. While this toy was fine to release to mass market at the time, toy blasters not being considered as objectionable as toy guns due to their fantastical nature, in the 20 years since its release, regulations for toy guns have changed, becoming much stricter. According to former Hasbro toy designer and Vice President of Intellectual Property Development Aaron Archer, Classics Megatron could not be released today, and it's likely been that case for quite some time. The final global release of this tool was part of the 2016 Amazon exclusive One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall 2-pack, and sported a mostly red deco with transparent red casing. While this deco is a far sight from both real guns and Megatron, resembling the 2014 Nerf Sonic Fire Strongarm, it's questionable whether it fully adheres to the 2016 Californian regulations. Megatron would see one final release as a gun at mass retail with 2011's Reveal the Shield Legends Class Megatron. Missing scope and blaze orange cap aside, this Megatron is much closer to the original toy and compatible with Masterpiece Starscream. Oddly marketed as a blaster rather than a gun by Hasbro, the small scale was initially why this toy was greenlit. But within 4 years of its release, guns of a similar size would become easily available, and with that, Generation 1 Megatron has been a tank for all mainline toys since 2015. I don't envy the team at Hasbro. They have a very iconic and popular design that makes for a highly enjoyable toy, yet it brings so much baggage with it thanks to constantly changing gun laws that vary by country across the world. While many adult collectors may not like it, it is perfectly understandable for Hasbro to avoid these issues entirely by changing Megatron's alt mode, then tolerating a loud minority of adult fans who can't comprehend the situation. Hasbro doesn't really have an out of their predicament either. adult collectibles are still considered to be toys for gun safety laws. Hasbro has to produce enough of any product to not only meet minimum order quantity, but hit their margins, and if the product isn't intended for mass retail, fan channel stores would have to be able to absorb all of that product. This is an extremely large ask, it's too much, and the resulting item won't be able to satisfy the hardcore fans anyway due to a necessarily neon deco that won't resemble Megatron as they envision him. Megatron as a tank is just the form that makes the most sense and works the best in the world we live in. If you enjoyed today's video and want more Transformers content, give it a like, drop a comment, and share it around. It helps the channel continue. Till next time friends, this has been Eric from Toys Down Under, and thanks for watching.